Good day, everyone. My name is Olabi Adeniro, and I welcome you to another live coding session. And this will be the last live coding session for the winter cohorts. I hope you guys have had a wonderful session, and I hope you guys have gained a lot. But I'm actually quite disappointed at the number of graduates we have for DevOps track due to the fact that most guys did not perform other duties that they were supposed to perform. So today we'll just be talking about a continuation of the last live coding session. I don't know if you can remember correctly, but in the last live coding session we worked on a random quote generator that we created from scratch, and we deployed it to a container. So, and I also showed us the deploying of the container to Docker Hub, where the container can be viewed publicly and pulled by anyone. So I'm just going to go to Docker Hub for us to confirm that the container is in Docker Hub already. And then we are going to today, what we're just going to be doing is, okay, what we're just going to be doing today is that we are going to be using Microsoft Azure App Services to deploy the container, basically. So we are going to be deploying the container using Microsoft App Services. So I'm just going to try to load my Docker Hub so that we can just first see the image that we deployed, and then make it publicly available using app services. And deploying it will actually be totally free, because with Microsoft App Service, once you have a valid subscription that you can use your Microsoft App Service to. Oh, sorry. Okay, I have to sign in. I already have an account. I'm going to sign in so we can just actually see the image. And if you can remember the last time, we pushed two images. Actually, there was an image that was the base image, and there was another image that I showed you how to tag the images when we were creating the container using the Docker file and the Docker command. So my account has been logged in automatically. So I just want us to see the two images that we pushed, and then exactly you can see this is the image, the Flask Docker image. It was last pushed 10 days ago. Okay, so exactly you can see that we have two tags. There's the latest tag and there's the v2 tag. So that's basically. So I'm going to go back to the Azure App Services, and this is the Azure dashboard. Today I'm going to be using the dashboard because the dashboard is basically the GUI and the easiest tool to use. When you want to have more control and access, it's better to use the Python client or to use the command line interface. But because we are just going to be doing something basic today, I'll be using the dashboard. So I've navigated to the app service. Another way you can do that is by coming here to click on this, and then you search for app services. So this is Azure App Services. So with Azure App Services, it's basically a way for you to deploy a web app. It has a very large functionality. You can use it to deploy JavaScript, almost any coding language. You can see them here: APIs, .NET, Java, Node.js, PHP, Python. And it's very, very robust. You can also use other languages that are not even listed with Azure App Services to spin up an app and then make sure that it works correctly. So to create our web app today, I'm just going to be exactly. So this is the interface to create the web app. So creating the web app, you have to choose your Azure subscription as usual. And I'm going to create a new resource group for this actually. So the new resource group will be called random code gen. Exactly, random code gen. So that will be the name of the resource group, because remember that for every for every service you want to spin up in Azure, it has to belong to a resource group. So it will be easily monitored and you can know what kind of stuff you are doing. So the name of the app will be a random quotes generator. Let's see if this is not available. So it's not available because someone has actually used it before. So let me see if this is available. Exactly. So this is available. So the name of our app will be random code gen. And then you can see, so this is where you got to stay technical. So there are different ways to publish. So instead of pushing to a Docker image and then stuff, you can just decide that, okay, you want to start pushing with the code. Okay, I want to push a Python code, something like this. You see that, but this is not advisable as it might take a lot for you to be able to manage and for you to be able to do some stuff. So the easiest way is for you to make sure that you have a container working already. So you just select the Docker container option. So after selecting the Docker container option, it will load some things based on the option that you have selected. So we are going to select the Docker container option. So it's very easy when you're using Docker container option because you know you are the one that spinned up your image. You are the one that created your Docker container and your image. So you know what it is you have to do and how you have to do it basically. So the region is US as usual. And then, so once this is where you have to get careful because when you want to select the plan based on whatever it is I want to use. So there are different kind of plans based on whatever it is you want to deploy, but we're just going to be we are going to be using the free plan. So with the free plan, you can just test stuff that you want to do as long as it does not need a lot of capability. But when you start doing things that are going to be taking much power, then that's when you start using one of these premium plans where you need probably 2 virtual CPUs. You see, this gives us 4 virtual CPUs. This is 1.7 gig memory, and we know that some tasks that we perform online actually need at least up to 8 gigabytes of memory for them to perform efficiently. But for our testing purposes, we'll be using the free plan, and this is just basic stuff. And so we are going next to what? To Docker. So this is where we are going to link our our Docker container that we have created previously. This is where we are going to link it to the what. So I know that speaking about Docker during one of our live coding sessions, we have spoken about Docker Compose, where you use it to spin up different containers. So if we wanted a web app that will be using different microservices that will be linked up with each other, this would have been the best option. But since we just have a single container already, we just click that and we are going to be getting our source from the Docker Hub. So the other places where you can have containers put actually. So there's Azure Container Registry. So Azure itself, it provides most of cloud platforms like this provide a container registry to make it easy to pull and get images. So Azure has its own container registry. There are other private containers registry that makes images and containers not available to the public. Even GitHub also has its own container registry that is called GHCR, GitHub Container Registry. So we are just going to be going with the basic one, that's the Docker Hub. It is a public container. If it was to be a private container, we have specified it, but as we said, it is a public container, so anybody can get it. So I'll just come here. I'm going to take the name of the image. So this is the name of the image, basically. So you can copy it from anywhere, you can copy it from here, you can copy it anywhere, but copying it for here will include these white spaces that are there. So if you copy it from here, you have to clean the white spaces basically. But if you are copied it from here, there will be no white spaces. But or you can even decide to tap it manually to make sure that you have no issue with whatever it is that you are doing. So I've copied that and I'm going to paste it here. So you can see now that there's a white space here that I have to clear. There's also another white space here that I have to clear. But if I continue like this, there will be an issue. Why? Because if you can remember correctly, when we were working the last time, I created the first container. The first container that I created, when I was, I don't think I showed this part, but the first container that I created, because of the way I put my syntax in my Docker file, the container would not start up anytime the container, the image will be created, but the container will not start. Why? Because I had a syntax error in my Docker file that did not allow the container to start up properly. So that was the one that had this tag latest. actually. So the the tag that is called the v2 tag, that's the one that actually has the correct syntax. So if we have some engagement today, so I have to make this pretty fast. If not, I would have liked to show us the difference of using this one that will start and this one that will not start. But it's something that anybody can work with. If you have an Azure, it's a public container, you can just type this and you'll be able to spin up the container with your own app service and go. So I'm going to tag it. That's the way to specify the tag, that I'm going to specify that I want this one that has the v2 tag and not just the latest. If you don't specify the tag, it will pull anyone that has the tag called latest or the last pushed image basically. So since I know that the one with the latest tag, since I know that the one with the latest tag, since I know that the one with the latest tag has an issue, so I have to make sure that I select we have to make sure that the tag I collect this, I select the correct tag. So I'll specify the v2 tag here, because I know that that's the command one. So this is if when I was creating the container, I did not create the correct thing, but I'm not going to override that. This is just what I need. So I'm going to go to the next thing. These are just basic things that you have to implement. But because we are going to be working with, because this is a demo, I won't be doing much on this. But normally you won't want, depending on the kind of app you are creating, if it's an app that has to be private to your company, you select this and stuff like that. And you see that because of the kind of plan I'm using, there are some things that are not available. So for you to have more features, you actually have to upgrade to the paid plan. So the next stage is the monitoring stage, and the monitoring stage is enable application inside. This is what allows you to like able to monitor what is going on in your app. But I don't need all of this actually, so I'll just go to the review plus create. When creating yours, there's a lengthy documentation that talks on each of those things and what they can do. So just to confirm what it is I'm doing, so I'm creating a web app. I'm using the free plan. It's a free plan. I'm going to use my own subscription. It belongs to the Random Code Gen group. The name is Random Code Gen. I'm publishing it from a Docker container, and I'm using this image basically. So with that, I think I'm good to go. So the plan is giving me just 1 gigabyte of memory. These are just SKUs. These are technicalities of Azure service that will determine the kind of hosting service that you'll be provided to deploy this app. So with this, I'm going to create this and wait for it to get deployed. So this is our notification dashboard that shows us how our deployment is going. So if there's an issue with deployment, that is where we are going to see it basically. So let's just wait for that to spin up. Okay, so the deployment is still in progress. So when it is creating the app service, it actually creates two things. It creates the app service itself, and then it creates the app itself. I don't know how much of a sense that makes, but it creates the app service, and then it also creates the app itself that we can then. So this is first the app service. So it's a server farm. So this is where let's just abstract to the physical computer and stuff that is hosting our website, basically that our app. So this is where it is staying. This is like the physical location where it is there. So after deploying the server farm, it has taken that away. Exactly. So after deploying the server farm, it has now created what the website itself. So this Random Code Gen website is actually hosted in this server farm. So let me go to this resource and let me see my app, and then we'll be able to access it in another tab, and with that we are good to go. So this is basically to me is one of the easiest ways to just like deploy stuff. So with this, once you are done locally, you are done deploying, once you are done testing locally, you are done creating your web app and it is already in a Docker container, deploying it is basically an easy step, because with this You are just moving your container that you are sure that your container is working to another place. So there's no changes, there's no you have to install this, you have to do that. Everything has been bundled up in your Docker container. So you have your app the way you expect it to be. The possibilities of you having a change is very, very minimal. It's like basically zero possibilities of you seeing a different result based on what you have already. So this is an overview of the web app actually. So there are a lot of things that we can do, the control center, the authentication, blah blah blah. I won't be going much into that today, but let me just take us through the JSON view. Let me see if that shows up. So let's just see exactly the JSON view. So the JSON view just shows us the detail about this resource. So it tells us everything about this resource and the whole of the things that I think is still coming up. So I don't know, let me just try to bring this up again and see if it will give us the JSON view. This would actually show us this will show us the JSON view, but I think my network is not solid enough to bring that up. But basically, this is everything about the resource. So the name, this is the resource group, the status is running, is on this subscription, and this is the domain, the app service plan. Basically, these are just everything that we specified when we were working on it. So these are other stuff also that tells us about this stuff. So you can see the container image that we are using. We are using a Docker container image, and basically, so that's all on that, and the other things that we can see. So to just access the app, you can see that we were provided with a default domain. So this will be the default domain that is created by Microsoft Azure. So we as the owner of the app can have a custom domain that we just replace with this domain that will now give us access to our app. So I don't have a custom domain now, so let me just access the app. This will open up another tab. So this is coming up. This is because it is the first time we are accessing the app after spinning it up. So it might take some time to load, but after it loads for the first time, then it gets faster on recurrent access to the app. It is taking some time. Another reason why it is taking this long is due to the fact of the kind of plan that we're using. We were using a more premium plan that had capacity to do more, so that I've been able to spin this up faster. But we just have to wait for it to come up, so we are able to use it. But we can see that the status is running and we don't have an health check configured. So in case of when there's an issue, this is where we know if there's an issue with the app. So let me just try to see if the JSON view will pop up now. Exactly. So we can see it now. So we can see everything. This is the ID, the name. It is a Linux container. Is in this blah blah blah. So a lot of things that are generated automatically. So with this resource now, JSON, you can use this to spin an exact replica of this kind of resource in another Azure or something. So we can see that this is where our image is. So if you had wanted another image, we would have done this another one. And so this is basically everything that is associated with this resource. So that's everything about the JSON view. So I think it is up already. So if we go to this new tab now, exactly, a new simple playground app. So if you remember correctly, I showed that we can also have something called home. It should also show us the same thing. Exactly, a simple playground app. So when we start, if I use something like generate, it should give me an error. Why? Because I did not specify an endpoint called generate exactly. But when I use gen, if you can remember correctly, gen was what specified that anytime we use gen, a new quote is created. So on anytime I come here, press enter again, another quote is created. Anytime I come here and press enter, another quote is created. So basically, we have worked on this from our local system, taking it to Docker Hub, and on Docker Hub, we have made it publicly accessible to anybody. So if I don't destroy this up now, anybody anywhere that just types this into their internet browser can be able to get exactly what it is that I'm also seeing here. And you just press enter and it is gone. So if I take this away, X, if I close this tab, open up another tab and paste it there, let me just go home. It should come up faster now. You see that it did not take as long as it took before. Why? Because the app is up already as per when we first did. So if I click on gen, and then it will create a quote for me. So and just for the last one, gen again, a quote. And you also see that I had fixed the issue. There was before when we created it at first. Anytime we click on gen, there are times where we get empty quotes, but it has been able to be fixed. And now, anytime we use this, we always make sure that the quote is gotten. And you see that the random stuff is actually working, and there's minimum chance of getting the same quotes successively. Enter. So that is all on today. So today we have been able to show how to use Microsoft App Service to deploy a web app on container, and how to make sure that a web app that was developed locally is deployed and made publicly available to users using Microsoft App Service. So this is just a basic demonstration, and there are many other powerful tools that can be done using the Microsoft App Service, and this is just a way. So any web app that you go to facebook.com, google.com, amazon.com, everything, this is one of the basic methodology that they go through from developing their web app to then posting it online. So I hope I've been able to impact some knowledge, and this cohort has been very nice, and we've had some wonderful coding sessions together. And I wish you guys a very wonderful journey in DevOps actually, and I hope you guys are able to use this knowledge for something and improve your careers in different ways. Thank you and have a wonderful day.